everyone, and welcome to episode 7 of my Blood Elf Warlock Let's Play series, where this might be the penultimate episode of this series. I have not fully decided yet, and I will let you all know next episode. But today I want to go ahead and continue exploring the Ghostlands, where we have a fun little path right here that we can take, which is going to take us close to the Sanctum of the Sun, which is around about where we finished off last episode, where we picked up a quest to go to the Farstrider Enclave because we are investigating Dar'Khan Drathir. And this is a very fun quest chain because we are approaching the end of our adventures in the Ghostlands, where if you look at what we currently have, we have this quest to do, and then we have the Spinal Dust and Rotting Hearts to do. So this quest is going to lead us down a little bit of a quest chain, and it is going to be the final quest chain that we have to do, where we basically completed Citizens of Tranquillion, and we have completed Farstrider Enclave, where now we can complete Dar'Khan Drathir, which I've already done all 3 on this account, but we can see our story progress here. Where, of course, the Farstrider Enclave is a place we have been to a few times, and it is a very cool looking place, where we are returning here one last time, or technically we'll pass back through here on our way out, but we need to turn in this quest right here, where she has a task for us, where Dar'Khan Drathir is believed to have returned from the dead to rule over the armies of the Scourge in the Ghostlands. Dar'Khan aligned himself with the Scourge long ago, yet he was once a living, breathing elf. Much of his time was spent inside Dawnstar Spire, northeast of here. He hid there for many nights, scheming against his own. Search the tower for more information, Athelsilian. Perhaps he had a journal or kept notes. One never knows where useful information might present itself. So we can go ahead and head to Dawnstar Spire, which of course this is a very, very cool area, and Dar'Khan Drathir is a very important character because when we go back to Warcraft 3, we see the runestones that we've also seen around Quel'Thalas in World of Warcraft as we've been exploring it here. But those runestones are incredibly powerful protective defenses, kind of similar to these arcane reavers that are walking around, and they were protecting Quel'Thalas against the Scourge. But there was a traitor amongst the ranks of the High Elves, where there was a relatively prominent figure known as Dar'Khan Drathir who betrayed Quel'Thalas and betrayed the High Elves and swore his allegiance to the Scourge, and was basically responsible for the deactivation of those runestones, which allowed the Scourge to march into Quel'Thalas. And of course the rest is history, where the Scourge decimated this entire area and killed many High Elves, which led to the creation of the Blood Elves, of course. Where Dar'Khan Drathir is, at the end of the day, just a very evil villain, and we can go ahead and attempt to get revenge for the fallen High Elves and to basically end one of the biggest threats to Blood Elven society, which is the now current leader of the Scourge forces here in Quel'Thalas, which is being led by the individual who betrayed the High Elves all those years ago. Where we can go ahead and go up here, where we can find the quest, the Traitor's Shadow. So let's go ahead, maybe not ignore these two. I tried to go between both of them, and I pulled both of them at the same time. Which we can see this dusty journal right here in the Amani Mountains. After browsing through the first few pages of this old book, you come to the conclusion that it once belonged to the one known as Dar'Khan Drathir. Where we can go ahead and return this book to the Farstrider Enclave because it is Dar'Khan's journal, and that is incredibly important for us. Where we did just level up to level 27, so let's go ahead and pick a new talent in just a moment, where our Felguard deals more damage and takes less damage. That seems very nice. Soul Strike deals increased damage and generates a Soul Shard. I'm not really sure what Soul Strike is. We have a chance to increase our Wild Imp's Firebolt by 15%, or increase a critical strike chance. Where increases all damage done by your pet by 4%, reduces the cast time of your Shadow Bolt by 25%, and increases its damage by 40%. I actually really... Oops, I'm just pressing random keys. I really like this ability, or this talent, because I think it will be fun to cast our Shadow Bolt a little bit faster. So let's go ahead and get that one. And then I want to look at this one as well. I didn't even read this one. Shadow Bolt and Demon Bolt deal additional damage for each demon we have summoned. So we would get up to like 6%. If we summon our Dreadstalkers, like up to 10% increased damage. So that seems pretty cool. But we have our quest giver right here that we can go ahead and return to. Let's turn this in. And now we can go ahead and report back to the Sanctum of the Sun. Here's the Magister, so let's go ahead and turn this in, where we get some new trousers, which I think are an upgrade for us. Not entirely sure what versatility does for us, but now we can go ahead and travel to the Bleeding Ziggurat and the Howling Ziggurat to recover the Stone of Light and the Stone of Flame, where these were imbued by the magical energies of the Sunwell and attuned to have warding powers against the Scourge, where we can get the same item that we currently have as a reward for this. Where that is a bug, we get the Sunwell Blade or the Sunwell Orb, which these are two very powerful items that we can use on Dar'Khan Drathir to cause a lot, 4.4 million arcane damage over 5 seconds and silencing the target. That doesn't seem right, but that seems really, really good. Where of course, back in the Burning Crusade, those were incredibly important to use against Dar'Khan Drathir. And we can go ahead and acquire these items so we ourselves can use it against him. So we have these two Ziggurats, which we have seen where Knucklerot and Luzran basically like patrol out of them and head to like different areas in the Ghostlands, where we ourselves can go ahead and infiltrate them and get these stones. So there are going to be some Scourge minions that are protecting this place, such as these gargoyles. So we are going to have to fight our way in, where we do need some more Rotting Hearts and some more Spinal Dust. So we can go ahead and be on the lookout for any Scourge minions that will give that to us, maybe when we cross over the Dead Scar, where we have the Howling Ziggurat right here. Where this Shadow Bow talent is very nice. We are dealing more damage and we are dealing the damage a little bit faster. There's a maggot right there, disgusting. Let's go ahead and come into here where there are dark mages, so some necromancers right here. Let's go ahead and deal with them, where there are going to be a fair few of them. I think there's one right on the other side over there too, and of course we see one in the center. So let's go ahead and maybe deal with this one over here first. They themselves can cast Shadow Bolts to us, which is kind of fun. Oh, I'm like dying. And my Felguard died. I'm taking a lot. Oh, I'm gonna... Can I... Okay, I canceled a Shadow Bolt by hiding. Okay, that's very dangerous. I think I was like one Shadow Bolt away from dying, and my Felguard died. So let's go ahead and run out of here really quickly. And let's get down to the road, because the road might be a little safe until those abominations come for us. But let's go ahead and recover, because I need to put on my soul stone and I need to get a health stone. And let's go ahead and resurrect our good old friend. Where, speaking of Knucklerot, we might have to get out of here a little bit faster. Let's get the Felguard up. I dare to summon him, and let's come down here and maybe just kill a few of these undead for a little bit. This quest right here is just a phenomenal vibe, which is just one of my favorite vibes in World of Warcraft, and this is something we see a lot with like the Wrath of the Chicane expansion throughout Northrend, and this is definitely something we see a ton of in the Western and Eastern Plaguelands and Classic WoW, where we are just in an area right now where there are a bunch of undead around here, and we're just spending some time killing a ton of these undead, and we're just ripping through their forces, and we are cleaning up the face of Azeroth from these rotting creatures, which I think is just fantastic. Where I always love questing through like Terrasfall Glades, because you get to kill a bunch of undead, and I love questing through the Western and Eastern Plaguelands because you get to kill a bunch of undead. Questing through Northrend is a lot of fun, and right here is a lot of fun as well, where I really do enjoy the Scourge faction, as I've talked about, and it's just fun to be able to deal with a lot of minions of the Scourge, especially since we do have a little bit of a, I guess you could say, a bone to pick with them. Okay, anyways, because the Scourge are definitely one of the factions that I think the Blood Elves have, I guess you could say, the most beef with, if you can really have beef with minus undead, where they are some of the most dangerous and gruesome enemies that the Blood Elves have ever seen, and are responsible for the deaths of so many of their people. I do now just need one more spinal dust and one more rotting heart. So I guess I should stick around here a little bit. I was about to run to the ziggurat and then I noticed that I am almost done where there is the last rotting heart I need. And now let's go ahead and fight a couple of skeletons because of course they drop the spinal dust. Down goes the sentinel like that. And I did not get it, but there's another one right over here. So let's go ahead and cast a few very fast shadow bolts. I'm really enjoying that talent, as you can see. And let's see what this guy has for us, where there's not one there. And maybe third time's the charm. Let's go ahead and attack this sentinel right here, where we'll have to run all the way over to that one. One more shadow bolt should do it, and no spinal dust. Okay, I guess we're doing this the hard way. Let's go ahead and go up towards the gates of Deathhome, which we can see are very, very close to us, where we have slowly been getting closer and closer, where we see some eyes of Dar'Khan right there, right at the entrance to this massive fortress, where there's also a risen stalker attacking us right here. And I just noticed that I think they have a little bit of an updated model. My Felguard's in the way. But that is definitely an updated skeleton model, which is cool. Same thing with the Risen Stalkers. I just now noticed that they're updated. They're like very subtly updated, where they look pretty similar to how they used to look, but they just look more HD, which I think is kind of cool. And no spinal dust, so maybe fifth time's the charm. Here's this sentinel. Go ahead, deal with this guy, and sixth time's the charm. This is really starting to feel like some vanilla World of Warcraft gameplay right now. There's a sorcerer all the way over here. Maybe I should have just gone to the ziggurat. He's casting frostbolts. Let's return some shadow bolts. Take the fight into our favor. And hope for a spinal dust. There we go. So we have completed these two quests, which we can turn in at Tranquillian, which I will do in a little bit because I think we're going to get a quest to go back to Tranquillian soon. But for now, let's go ahead and come over to the other ziggurat, where I saw was a Knucklerot patrolling around that area, and Luzran is right there. So it looks like he's going down to the Dead Scar. So let's go ahead and come up this way, where we just have this gargoyle here, and then there's going to be the cultist inside. Now we learned from the other ziggurat that these cultists are pretty powerful. Their shadow bolts deal a ton of damage, so I need to keep an eye on our minions' health as we come into here, into the bleeding ziggurat. Let's go ahead, attack this guy first, and our Felguard is just going to go ahead and go straight in. There's a rare here, Dr. Witherlimb, so this is definitely going to put a wrench in our plans, as our minion is taking a ton of damage. Maybe I should just constantly heal up our minion right now, where he's like shrunken by the doctor. Let's go ahead and try to get another hit off. There we go. I was not expecting to fight this rare right here. And the other two are not attacking us, so we can just take a moment to heal him up. Let's go ahead, come into here, and then we can use our Drain Life. And he has a Withering Poison for 10 minutes, where his size is reduced. He's actually dying. Let's go ahead, heal him up again. And there's this Dark Mage right here, the last threat inside this building. So let's go ahead, deal with him. Dr. Witherlimb says, "It is very kind of you to donate your organs," which is kind of funny. And we got an Abomination Cleaver from him, where we can add this appearance to our warband, and it just looks like that, a cleaver with some blood on it, which is kind of sad. So let's go ahead and get the Stone of Light, and those are the two stones that we needed. So now we can return once again to the Sanctum of the Sun, the Magister once again, where we can go ahead and get the Sunwell Blade or the Sunwell Orb, and I think we could go with the Blade. So let's go ahead and complete this quest, where we can now slay Dar'Khan Drathir inside Deathhome and bring his head to Magister Kandris at the Sanctum of the Sun, where we can see we can get the Staff of the Sun as our reward for this quest. Where we have 2 quests right here, where we can go ahead and take this drought to some prisoners inside of Deathhome to help them out, and then we can go ahead and slay some of Dar'Khan's lieutenants and his minions, where we got 4 quests here. And I think this is actually very special for Retail WoW that we got all 4 of these quests, because I think you used to have to like complete War on Deathhome in order to get like Captives of Deathhome or something like that. So you used to have to like return to this area like twice, but it seems like you get all 4 now, which is very nice. But first, let's return to Tranquility really quickly. And first, before we do that, I wanted to point out this small little area right here. Since last episode, I pointed out a couple of ponds. This is like more of a lake, but this is a very cool lake right here with some wreckage in it. And then we have this like wrecked caravan right here. There's like an axe and like the side of that one like wagon right there. And then we have this lit fire, a lit campfire, which is very cool. There's a risen hunger that has made its way to Tranquility, and these guards are attacking it. That's very interesting. But we can run up here for this quest, where we can turn in both of these, and we're going to get a special item for turning this in. And then we get a repeatable quest, kind of similar to the repeatable quest in the Blood Mist Isle, but we can bring back some Rotting Hearts and some more Spinal Dust to get these Scourge Bane Droughts and Scourge Bane Infusions. The former wish increases our attack power, and the lesser wish increases our spell power. But now we have the final quest in the Ghostlands, where this is a group quest, suggested players 5. So this might be a decently challenging for us, but we have all 4 of these quests where we can fight some of the leaders of Deathhome and rescue some of the captives, and we can go ahead and just kill a bunch of Scourge minions, and then we can also kill Dar'Khan Drathir himself. So now it's time to lay siege to this Scourge stronghold that we have been seeing for several episodes now, where if we go back all the way to Eversong Woods, basically our entire questing experience has been leading to this point, where once we left like the starting areas, we saw the Dead Scar, and the Dead Scar has gone through the entirety of Eversong Woods and also the Isle of Quel'Thalas if you want to go even further, and has gone through the entirety of Ghostlands, and it leads to the southernmost point of the Ghostlands right here, where we can go ahead and enter Deathhome, the final area here for the Blood Elf starting experience, where there are a ton of undead in here, and it is a pretty cool area. Let's go ahead and just charge right in here, and we can go ahead and start killing some of these Eyes of Dar'Khan, where we need to kill 5 of them, where we can see a bunch of different Scourge buildings in here, where this is truly a massive fortress. And I think technically this is kind of like in the story a place that you built in Warcraft 3 as you like came through Quel'Thalas. So I think that's like a really cool thing, which we see throughout like World of Warcraft, where we see like different human and orc settlements are technically settlements that you help to build up, especially like the orc ones, especially like Orgrimmar itself is one you specifically build up during the founding of Orgrimmar bonus campaign in Warcraft 3. But I think on a technicality, we are partially responsible for what has happened here if you're someone who has played both Warcraft 3 and World of Warcraft. Where of course if you play through Warcraft 3 and if you play as Arthas during the Scourge campaign, you are directly responsible for everything that has happened here because you are the one who laid siege to Quel'Thalas. We have this little crypt down here that we can go ahead and run into. And as we come down here, we have Jurion the Deceiver, as well as one Apothecary Eneth. So let's go ahead and kill one of Dar'Khan's lieutenants right here, and then we can go ahead and rescue this Forsaken. Let's give her the drought. And she says that she should have never left the Silver Pine Forest, so she might be returning there in the future, closer to home, closer towards the Undercity, where we have killed this lieutenant, and we have 3 more to go. So we can go ahead and run back out of this crypt, and I see a Whaler right here, which I've not killed any of these yet, so I should make a little bit of progress on that quest, where we've killed 4 Eyes of Dar'Khan so far, and we're probably going to be killing a few more. I see that way they're way off over there. And I see like something I can loot over there maybe, or is it just this one right here? So these two run over here, where we can maybe just continue down this road here, which there are a lot of bones. And if you really think about this like really hard, this is really gruesome, because there are a lot of skulls right here. And of course, with how skulls work most of the time, each skull is one individual, hypothetically a single high elf that the Scourge killed as they were marching through this area of the world. So as we look down on the road here, and as we travel through here fighting the Scourge, we can just think about how many high elves died because of the actions of the Scourge, because of the actions of Dar'Khan Drathir, where at the end of the day, we can blame a lot of this on Dar'Khan Drathir. And as we look at every single one of these skulls, which belongs to a high elf or maybe a human, we can think about how Dar'Khan Drathir is basically responsible for extinguishing this individual who had a family and a purpose and hobbies and whatnot from the face of Azeroth, which I think is very gruesome and kind of distressing to think about in many ways. There's also some mushrooms over there, which is fun. But we have Masofet the Black in here, where we have these two like bigger like structures. There's one way over there, and then there's one in the center there. So not in the center one, but this one and the one way over there. We have the boss Masofet the Black, who could spawn in one or the other, where we were lucky to have him spawn in the first one that we came into, so we can go ahead and deal with this boss who is now attacking us and is this like necromancer, skeleton, blood mage, potentially minion. Looks to be more of a blood mage, a former blood elf, as he was attempting to cast a frostbolt there, but we have killed that lieutenant. So now let's go ahead and run this way, where we have this big structure right here and a Nerubus Centurion. Actually, two of them, plus there's just so many undead around here, which of course is slightly cathartic, as we can go ahead and just rip through the ranks of the Scourge. But now we have this big building that is in the center that we can go ahead and come into here, and there should be a boss in here, I thought. Oh, maybe not. But we do have this ranger that we can go ahead and give the drought to, where we have one more apprentice Varnus who we have to find. So let's go ahead and come out this way, where I think there's one boss in there, and then there's one boss in this building over here in the northeastern corner of Deathhome. And we can see some plague cauldrons around here as well. I see two specifically, which of course the plague cauldrons are important in order for the Scourge to deliver the plague to various parts of the world. Where I do need to keep an eye out for some more of these Nerubus Centurions, because I need to kill 4 more. And I see there's a necromancer with a skeleton, or the skeleton's like really far behind her for some reason. And I actually see 4 Centurions right here, so that's actually very convenient for us. We just have to get through the necromancer first. And then we can start killing these Centurions, where I'll need to kill 4 more whalers after. So I think they're pretty easy to find. A bunch of them are just like wandering around everywhere. So if we just like run in a circle, and it feels weird to be running in those mushrooms and they're like, you know, swaying back and forth as you run through them. And it's kind of just unsettling a little bit. Where maybe an even more unsettling thing is we can run through these cobwebs right here. So we can just imagine how like our entire body is basically covered in cobwebs right now as we ran through that, which is kind of just nasty. Which, if you think about it, at the end of the day, you're killing a lot of creatures, so there's probably like a lot of blood and guts like just scattered all over you, and then there's, you know, like mud everywhere and cobwebs everywhere, and like so many like nasty things, where it must be really nice to return to a city and to like take a bath after you go out on your adventures. But that's not really ever something we see mechanically in the game. But lore wise, something we know about the Blood Elves is that they do enjoy their baths. Into here we have Borgoth the Bloodletter, a giant abomination, and we have this apprentice here, Let's go ahead and deal with the Abomination, which he turns around and that's kind of unsettling. Different parts of his body on the back there. Where there's some Eyes of Dar'Khan in here. Let's go ahead and administer this drought, where he can go ahead and run away. And there's this Wither right here that we can go ahead and kill just to progress this quest. Where I noticed we did level up and I have not put in a new talent point just yet. So let's go ahead and come into here really quickly, where we could get Shadow Fury, stuns all enemies within 8 yards for 3 seconds, or we could reduce damage taken by an additional 15% just flat, or reduces the cooldown of Unending Resolve. Oh wait, Unending Resolve, we have to use the skill, or we can reduce the cooldown by 45 seconds. Let's get the Shadow Fury ability, and let's have it on our skill bar right there, and we can maybe use it against Dar'Khan, or maybe one of the other enemies around here. Where let's drop down this way. This eye might come and attack us. Where we have this Wither right here. Let's go ahead and launch a Shadow Bolt, and let's try this out. We can target on the ground and then cast, and then it's a big stun ability, which the stun does last for 3 seconds. Into here, we have Murdoran. There we go, the Fallen. So we can go ahead and kill the final lieutenant. This looks to be like potentially a human skeleton, or maybe it is a high elf skeleton. But the humans were helping out a little bit with the high elves, but not a lot. Where there are some Withers in here that we can go ahead and defeat while we're here. So we have finished the Dar'Khan's lieutenant quests, and we have finished the captives at Deathhome quest. And as we kill this Wither, we will have finished the War on Deathhome quest, which leaves us with one final quest, the Traitors' Destruction, where we can kill Dar'Khan Drathir himself. So let's go ahead and go into the central structure, the central ziggurat, which is right over here, and we can go ahead and go down into the bowels of it, where there are some of the Eyes of Dar'Khan right here, guarding the Tower of the Damned. So let's go ahead and deal with these first two right here. And then we should come into our inventory, and we should go ahead and grab our Sunwell Blade, a very powerful item that we have, where it says it'll deal 4.4 million arcane damage. So we might just instantly kill Dar'Khan Drathir. Let's go ahead and put it on here, and we have to make sure we equip it before the fight, because 1, you cannot equip it during the fight, and 2, it has a 30-second cooldown once you basically put it into your equipment, and then you cannot use the special ability that it offers for 30 seconds to prevent maybe some sort of exploit or whatever. But here's the Wailer dead. We have this Necromancer, and we can see Dar'Khan Drathir way down there, 14,000 health, where we have 3,000 health. So he's definitely a very powerful enemy. But we do have this blade, which I'm very interested to see what's about to happen, because this might be insane. Let's go ahead and maybe run up here really quickly. Let's go ahead and heal our minion, and I'm getting attacked by something. Let's go ahead and use our Drain Life. Let's use Drain Life again. Let's go ahead, heal our minion. He's going to cast Shadow Bolt, which is going to deal a ton of damage. Or maybe I should use this. Drain Life again. Maybe we should kill the Necromancer. Try and Drain Life there for a second. And then let's heal our friend. Let's go ahead and eat a crunchy spider surprise. How appetizing. Or if we eat for long enough, we will gain a buff. And it's also going to restore, I guess, not a lot of health at the end of the day. Where the scaling is a little weird. Where we do have some health potions we can use. And we do have a variety of buffs. But let's go ahead and just focus on our Sunwell Blade. Where we have Dar'Khan Drathir, and we have 2 other Necromancers. Let's send in our minion. And let's try to use this, where it most definitely does not deal 4.4 million damage. And now I'm dead. Well, okay, that did not go how I expected it to. So we have died, and I can use my Soul Stone just to resurrect right here. So that's interesting. Where I was not expecting this boss fight to actually be difficult at all. where in the Wrath Lich King, I think he gets nerfed to be able to be killed by yourself. And this doesn't deal that much damage. That's very interesting. Let's give ourselves a soul stone again so we can just return here. And then maybe we should try to kill the necromancers really quickly and then die again, and then maybe we can fight Dar'Khan when he's by himself. And then maybe we can do our shenanigans where we like just heal our minion here. So let's go ahead and heal him up. The other necromancer is actually not attacking us right now, so maybe we could just start with those shenanigans where Dar'Khan is currently attacking our minion, and he's currently focused on our minion, and he's going to cast the occasional shadow bolt, which is going to deal quite a bit of damage. Where let's actually go ahead, use our corruption and crystal weakness, and he just feared our minion. Where maybe we can pull him this way. Our minion just went in again. And then maybe we can just cycle through this. Let's use health funnel. Let's get our minion back up. And it seems like we're doing decent. I'm a little nervous about this other necromancer right there, but I think we're doing okay. I just have to keep cycling through like all these abilities. Where he's running up here now. Summon our Dreadstalkers, deal some more damage. Oh, he just AoE feared. And he gave S corruption. Okay. This is actually kind of an intense boss fight, and I think we're really going through this in a very, very easy way because we are a warlock, which is very convenient for us. But this is completely different than the Blood Elf final boss, and there we go. Dar'Khan Drathir, the traitor, defeated. Right, let's kill this necromancer really quick because she was stressing me out, and I kind of just want to end her life because she was stressing me out. Let's heal up our minion. Shadow bolts deal so much damage. Let's deal with the skeleton. And now we have completed all 4 of these quests, which I think is terms for a Hearthstone. Well, let's go ahead and Hearthstone back to Tranquillian, and then we can just run over to the Sanctum of the Sun. But that is Dar'Khan Drathir defeated, which is very, very cool because Dar'Khan is a very cool villain, and there's 2 undead right here. This is very interesting. There's like so many undead just walking into Tranquillian. But we have defeated the leader of the undead in the Ghostlands, and we have brought vengeance to many, 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 many elves. And here in the Sanctum of the Sun, let's go ahead and run up here really quickly, where we can go ahead and turn in this quest, and then these 2 quests where we got a wand, and we are now exalted. I think I saw that. Exalted with Tranquillian, where if we come into our reputation tree here, we can see we have maxed out our reputation with this faction. We got this new wand here, and we leveled up to level 29. Where now we can go ahead and turn in this quest. Today you've dealt a deadly blow to the Scourge's grasp in this region. With the vile traitor gone, it shall not be long before we've reclaimed our lands and our greatness is restored once again.
The reckoning
This
is at hand.
is the beginning of a new chapter in the history of our race at Thessalian. Our lands will be reclaimed, and we shall submit our bond with Sylvanas and her allies. Take the traitor's head to Region Lord Lorthamar Thuron in Silvermoon City. He'll be eager to hear the news. So we can go ahead and keep this rotting head in our bags, and we can go ahead and run back to Tranquillian because we have now officially completed not only every single quest in Eversong Woods, but every single quest in the Ghostlands. And now we have the quest to go to Silvermoon City for the Hero of the Sindori, where we got this Staff of the Sun that we can go ahead and equip, and it looks very, very cool. Where I want to hold on to the Sunroll Blade because I love how it looks as well. There's just undead everywhere. I saw like undead right over here as we walked in, and then there's like an undead that just ran up here a little bit. It's very interesting. I wonder if it's like buggy right now. Where we can return to Sun Fury Spire one last time, where we see Lor'themar Thrawn hanging out here with his two biggest advisors.
I greet you on behalf of Silvermoon.
And we can go ahead and turn into this head. Now that's one face I was not expecting to see so soon. This is quite the good news, Athelsilian, in more ways than you can imagine. There were doubts about our capabilities among our potential new allies. Of what use could we be to them when perceived as unable to deal with our problems at home? This changes everything. No longer will our power be questioned. We will be able to join the Horde as equals. Take this letter to Sylvanas, ruler of the Forsaken. She's already on our side, but the news of Dar'Khan's death will be music to her ears. Prepare for a long trip, Athelsilian. If all goes well, she will send you to Orgrimmar. So, we can go ahead and return to the Undercity, where we visited this previously to visit Sylvanas Windrunner to give her her locket that was missing. But we can go ahead and return with the head, and we can officially join the ranks of the Horde. Whereas we run to Sylvanas, we can actually read the letter from Lor'themar Thrawn. Esteemed leaders of the Horde, it is with great pleasure that I, Lor'themar Thrawn, Regent Lord of Quel'Thalas, announce the fall of the Scourge Commander known to us as Dar'Khan Drathir. Dar'Khan's foothold in our lands was brought up by critics of the Sin'dorei race at numerous previous negotiations. We hope this event addresses any and all previous objections your graces might have harbored. Signed, Lor'themar Thrawn. P.S. Our Grand Magister has received word back from Outland regarding Thraw's question. The answer is, with great certainty, yes. And of course, that question is related to the orcs of Draenor that we can go ahead and visit soon enough. But first, let's visit the Banshee Queen of the Forsaken, because we can run into the Royal Quarter where we see the ambassador here who we talked to earlier, and we have Sylvanas Windrunner.
What joy is there in this curse?
Where we can turn an envoy of the Horde. Ah, a visitor from Quel'Thalas, what news do you bring? It is done then. The foul traitor got what he deserved. You did this yourself, an impressive feat that proves that your race remains worthy, Athelsilian. I see that Lor'themar has additional news that will greatly improve his relations with the Trolls and their war chief. I haven't lost any love for my homeland or its people, as you know. I fought tooth and nail for Silvermoon to be allowed a place beside Undercity and Orgrimmar at the negotiating table. This should silence any opposition. Take this letter to Saurfang and Orgrimmar. As leader of the orcs, he must have a say in accepting the Sin'dorei's pledge. I've added my own seal to the letter as a personal endorsement. Go northwest of the city and board the Zeppelin bound for Durotar at the tower. And of course, this is a very interesting quest because we are taking this to High Overlord Saurfang. Wish during the original Burning Crusade, we take this to Thrall, and then with the Cataclysm expansion, we take this to Garrosh Hellscream, and then with the Warlords of Draenor expansion, we take this to Vol'jin, and now, as of the Legion expansion, we take this to High Overlord Saurfang, I believe. So we just have this quest change and change and change over the years, depending on who like the biggest leader of the orcs at Orgrimmar are right now. But we can go ahead and meet the orcs, which let's go ahead and close out this episode by doing just that. So we need to run back up towards the ruins of Lordaeron, where we have the area we originally came to, and we have this courtyard here, which, fun fact, during vanilla there's actually like invisible ghosts around here, and if you like arcane blasted, you could potentially attack one of them, and they're like level 60, so they would kill you, and a lot of people in hardcore die that way just by like randomly pressing arcane blast. But we can go ahead and leave Lordaeron, and we can go to the Zeppelin Tower, which we see these two Zeppelin Towers right here. The one on the western part over there is very cool because it will take you to Northrend, but this one will take you to Stranglethorn Vale as well as Durotar. And because of how Lordaeron is right now. We can take the portal to the Howling Fjord, and I saw we can take the portal to Stranglethorn Vale right up there, and I believe we can take this portal to Orgrimmar, because I don't think the Zeppelin is ever going to arrive, where the Thundercaller is under maintenance. It caught fire just one too many times, and we can go ahead and take this portal to Orgrimmar. So let's go ahead and do just that, where we are going to be sent to the Orgrimmar portal room, I believe. And these portals are actually very interesting because lore-wise, they're basically like impossible to exist, but like mechanically, they exist all over Azeroth, and they're incredibly important for allowing players to travel from like different zones. So we are able to take this portal, and we have the Kalimdor loading screen art right here, which is very fun to see. And we load into the Pathfinder's Den, where there are a bunch of portals all around here, including a portal to Silvermoon City, which we actually cannot use right now. But we have this Leyline Navigator just sitting here, kind of just hanging out, where she is not a Void Elf, a Nightborn, who are members of the Horde and are pretty similar to Blood Elves. You know, Blizzard loves their elves and their humans and their dwarves, so there are a lot of those types of races in World of Warcraft. But we have entered the great city of Orgrimmar, the capital city of the Orcs, and the biggest city for the Horde, where we have this troll hanging out here and a bunch of orcs, and we can see the Feast of Wintervale is actually going on, which I think it's going to be long done by the time this video comes out. But we can also request teleportation to Hellsbrad Foothills to participate in the Feast of Wintervale over there. But we can go ahead and enter Graumosh Hold, where we have Eitrigg, and we have Rolkan, who's actually front and center right here, where he is the Dark Spear Chieftain, because of course Vol'jin is dead. And then we have High Overlord Sorrowfang, which this is a major spoiler, but Sylvanas actually kills Sorrowfang because Sylvanas becomes like a major villain in World of Warcraft. So it's kind of interesting that we got sent by Sylvanas to deliver this letter to Sorrowfang, which lore-wise would actually be Thrall, and then Sylvanas kills Sorrowfang in an expansion that happened like 6 years ago or 5 years ago now. So World of Warcraft's timeline is confusing.
Now is not the time for pleasantries.
But he says Sylvanas, she is persistent, even going so far as to send a champion of Silvermoon. How will this be changing anything? Which we can actually read the letter here, where this letter bears the additional seal of Lady Sylvanas Windrunner. Let's go ahead and turn to this quest, where we have allegiance to the Horde. Your people suffered a great betrayal by the Alliance. You succeeded in fighting off the Darnassian attacks and the spies from Ironforge. Now you defeated a powerful Scourge leader at the footsteps of your home. Your worthiness is no longer in question. It is clear now that we need each other. Return to Lor'themar, tell him I have heard your message, and accept. Sorrowfang crushes the letter inside his palm. Welcome to the Horde, Elf. So we can go ahead and return to Lor'themar Thrawn, where we basically need to go all the way back to Quel'Thalas, where I do have my Hearthstone to go to Tranquillion, but I think I'm actually going to set it here to this end, so then I can just Hearthstone straight back to Orgrimmar after we get back over towards Silvermoon City. So let's come out this way, and let's see if the portal is actually working now. Where I do have the quest marker here, and the quest marker is taking us to the portal. We cannot use it, and I think I might know how to be able to use that. So let's go ahead and run this way really quickly, where there's Plagued Grain right here, which is kind of concerning given the entire storyline going on in Quel'Thalas and around Lordaeron. But if we run up this way, we can do something that I did in my Draenei Warrior Let's Play series, and that is to begin time walking. Because there are so many expansions in World of Warcraft, we have the opportunity to select a specific timeline that we want to play through, where I've recently been playing through Dragonflight in a live Let's Play series in my streams. But just like in our Draenei Warrior Let's Play series, let's go ahead and pick the portal to Outland. where we look quite prepared, and we can go ahead and pick up this quest, Burning Crusade to Outland, which we can do next episode. So we can begin looking at some of the Outland stories going on. But for now, let's go ahead and run back this way, because I think by doing that, I progressed to like a state of World of Warcraft where I can use the portal down here, where I think if I were to take a quick detour, I could actually run down here really quickly. And if you look right over here, we have a portal to Shadrath that I can take, which is the capital city in Outland. But if we run right here, we have the portal to Silvermoon, which is now working for us. So we can go ahead and teleport instantly back to Silvermoon. And I think this is actually going to take us pretty close to Lor'themar, which is nice. Whereas we load into here, we have a portal to Orgrimmar, so we can go ahead and just take that portal back to Orgrimmar, and that will allow us to return to the city. Or let's go ahead and turn in this quest to Lor'themar Thrawn, where we are now revered with Silvermoon City. Where that quest read, your work has helped advance our race's cause, a tremendous deal. Not only does Thrall believe we're capable of handling ourselves in the face of the enemy, he also believes he can use our link with Outland as a means to reach his people. Not exactly the truth, but not a lie either. Brace yourself for great changes, Athelstan. We are now officially part of the Horde. So let's return to the Horde's biggest city, back to Orgrimmar, where we are almost level 30, so we have definitely progressed through the game a little bit more than we did on our Draenei Warrior Let's Play series, which just means that there is actually a tiny bit more content going on in the Blood Elf starting area compared to the Draenei starting area, which is kind of interesting to see. But next episode we can explore some of Outland, and as far as this episode goes, I'm going to go ahead and call it good here, where I hope you all enjoyed watching this very, very cool episode with some very, very, very cool quests, and I hope you all are taking good care of yourselves. Remember, as always, to drink some water, check your posture, and subscribe. And I'll see you next time in the Road of Azeroth. Goodbye.